Alright, hi everyone. Welcome to today's video. On the day this being recorded, it is Tuesday, November 26, 2024. I'm now walking home from work because it's a little after 8. And yeah, it's about 37 degrees out. So I won't be coming back here until Thursday, which is Thanksgiving. And it's a holiday, but it's a day I normally have off. But yeah, if I were to have any guaranteed days off, it would probably be Thursday. Thursdays are probably the best days to have off. So I'm always guaranteed to have Thursdays off. So what am I gonna do tonight? I don't know. Maybe play some Fort. Maybe do some commentary for Sonic Adventure 1. Just get it, more of it done and over with. Maybe record more of the next game, which is pretty cool. So I submitted the 3 of the 4 days that I was talking to you guys about in the video I made yesterday on my way home. Which, to put it simply, between now and Trump's inauguration, so pretty much from now until like mid-late January, there are 4 major political dates that I either have off or hope to have off. But I submitted all the ones I needed off on Chronos no later than last night when I got home. And I made an updated list on a post-it note. Let's see here. Okay, so the first one, and well, here's the thing. One is in December, so one's literally like, actually one is like, probably at least 3 weeks away, or, something like that. But it's December 17th, and that is the day that the entire Electoral College, no matter what state that you're in, casts the official ballot for president. So, Ohio is going to be casting theirs, so I want to watch it. Okay. I just threw my keys, badge, and AirPods into the bag I got. It has some mac and cheese, like the good mac and cheese that work has, which is really, really good. I love it. Like, I literally bust a whole nut for it. Like, it's good shit, guys. But anyways, oh yeah, and I have my pop that I just opened maybe an hour ago, or within the last hour. But yeah, but anyways, December 17th is when Ohio casts its official ballot for president, for the Electoral College, and all the other states and DC will meet in their respective state capitals and cast each state's electoral votes. They cast them, they get sealed, and then they get sent off to Washington. January 3rd is another one, but that's the only day that I'm, of the 4, I'm guaranteed to have off because it is part of my day off. What's significant about January 3rd? That is the day that the new Congress gets sworn in and begin their proceedings. So it'll be the 119th Congress. So, I mean, each house does their proceedings differently at the start of every Congress. I'll start with the House since it's the easiest. First, the clerk will gavel in the new House. A quorum will be established. And then at least one person from both parties are nominated to be the Speaker of the House, which is the 3rd most powerful position in our government. Which means that if the President and Vice President are somehow out of office, then the Speaker of the House would become the President. But yeah. So yeah, they vote, and as soon as they elect a House Speaker, the Dean of the House, which I actually have no idea who it is now, they will swear in the Speaker, and then after that, the Speaker will swear in everyone in the House, and then they'll begin their proceedings. Now, the House can choose their Speaker anywhere from 1 ballot to 154. No joke. There is literally a Congress where they actually chose their Speaker in 154 ballots. I think it was in the span of probably 2-3 months or so. I don't know, it was crazy. In fact, at the beginning of the last Congress, it took, which is, our current Congress, 118, at the time it's been recorded. It won't be the current by the time you guys see this. But the 118th, in order to get Kevin McCarthy as Speaker, it took them 15 ballots in a span of 4 days. Because, the House can't technically do anything until they vote and elect a Speaker. So yeah, after a Speaker has been chosen, sworn in, they will swear in everyone else of the House, and they will officially begin their proceedings. Now, the Senate is a little bit different. Yeah, the Senate is a little bit different because every other year, 1/3 of all senators are either newly elected or re-elected. And they are sworn in by the Vice President of the United States, or whoever the Vice President is at the time.
She's probably gonna rip it off.
But, yeah, the Senate the Vice President will more likely gavel in for the new Congress. I don't know if they have to choose or vote on a President pro tempore. I actually don't know how the Senate does their proceedings. honestly. What I do know is that a small group of either re-elected or newly elected senators, and small groups of like 4 or 5, get marched up forward, and they each have to sign their names in the journal and then be sworn in by the vice president. And then I think they elect a president pro tempore, and then from there they can begin on their own proceedings. I honestly don't know, honestly. So the plan is that on January 3rd, you know, again, my day off, is that I'm going to have the House on my TV, and I'm going to have the Senate on my PC. Which is kind of odd that, you know, I know a lot about Congress, but when it comes to each of the houses of Congress, I know more about the House than I do with the Senate, which is a little ironic. But since, you know, my overall dream is to one day be in Congress, which branch of Congress I want to be in? Yeah, you guessed it. It's the House of Representatives. Because, you know, there's a smaller number of people that are on your shoulder than, you know, being a senator. Because you're not only representing your party, but you're also representing your entire state. And most states have, on average, of like somewhere between, I don't know, on average, like somewhere between 8 and like 15 million people. In most situations. So yeah, that's the second day, second big political day coming up, and the only one I'm guaranteed to have off. Date number 3, January 6th. Yep, that is when the House will meet, or more like both houses of Congress will meet in a joint session in the House chamber, and they will certify the electoral votes for president. So hopefully I get to get that day off to, you know, watch that happen, because the last time that happened, when Congress was certifying them, that ended up being the January 6th riot, and, you know, the storming of the Capitol. Which, honestly, the last time that's ever happened was probably around the time of Andrew Jackson, honestly. So yeah, that's day number 3. And day number 4, January 20th, which is Trump's inauguration. I want to watch it. Now, the last time that Trump was inaugurated, that was my, oh God, that was that took place in my junior year of high school. That was 8 years ago. Oh God. And I did watch a little bit of it in my government class, but I was also keeping tabs on, the changes in power, especially from vice president and, president. When the vice president went from Joe Biden to Mike Pence, and when the president went from Barack Obama to Donald Trump. Now, the last time I saw opening day of Congress was back in 2023. I did watch an opening day. I think I had that day off, or I requested that day off. No, I think I just had that day off. And I was watching, and that's how we got into the fiasco of, oh yeah, they went 15 whole ass rounds of, Congress, or the House, figuring out who the hell their speaker is going to be. Oh boy. I'm going to be posting a lot of TikToks that day. Let's see here. The last time I saw a certification of election votes by Congress was honestly back in 2017. So whatever it was then, and it was then Vice President Joe Biden and then House Speaker, who was House Speaker back then? Oh yeah, Paul Ryan of Wisconsin. Because someone from Congress was like, well, we have to do stuff, and then Biden was like, it is over. But yeah, a lot of people do not like the Electoral College. But, that's a story for another day. Let's see here. The last time that I witnessed Ohio officially do its voting for the Electoral College, I actually never have. So this will be the first time. So according to my research, because I was curious about it the other day, so I looked it up while I was at work, and 13 states do not have any type of law or ban against faithless electors. And unfortunately, Ohio is not one of them. Ohio does have a law against faithless electors. Now, personally, do I think that we need to have more faithless electors? Well, absolutely. But the thing is that the only way you can have faithless electors is if it's a final gambit from the losing side. And, they want to go down with dignity. Or if it's a small faction on the winning side that are upset that they won with the candidate that they one with and they want to swap. I have no idea how many times that actually happened in American history, believe it or not. So I may have to eventually do a video on that. On how many elections had how many faithless electors. Now, I do know that there was a faithless elector in Washington State that voted for the very first Native American, which was the first time that a Native American has ever received an electoral vote. And that was back in 2016, folks. The only faithless elector that I know that happened throughout history was 1820, when James Monroe was running pretty much unopposed for president, for a second term. There were a total of 235 eligible electoral votes. However, 3 electors died somewhere. And that means only 232 electors casted a ballot. But all but one went to Monroe. There was one faithless elector that went to his Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams. And there are a few reasons why said faithless elector did it. The guy was William Plumer, who was an elector from, what state was he from? Oh yeah, he's from New Hampshire. There were a couple reasons why he didn't cast his vote for Monroe. First, he honestly believed and thought that no person shall have the high honor of receiving a unanimous vote for president except for Washington. Which, seems valid, I would say. And the second is kind of based on pettiness, that he honestly didn't think that Monroe did a really good job as president. So he just decided to waste his vote and say, hey, how about for another Democratic Republican? How about his Secretary of State? And that's how he gave his vote to Monroe's Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams. So yeah, if I can get all 4 of those days off, that'd be cool. And according to a TikTok that I seen earlier today, like probably at least within the last hour, that every single state leaned right in the election. I mean, hell, in terms of the popular vote, Trump almost lost the 2 big Democrat states of California and New York by almost a slim margin. It was probably off by a couple thousand votes. But yeah, he almost won those 2 states. And he originally was from New York. But he decided to change his residency to Florida. Although what I think is kind of funny is that, remember how back in 2020, when Republicans blamed the Democrats that they cheated Biden into the White House. Well, the same thing kind of happened with this year, although it's the other way around. Democrats are blaming Republicans for having them cheat. Pretty much cheat Trump back into the White House. All right. So yeah, I actually don't know what else I could possibly talk about, honestly. I feel like I talk about everything yesterday. I don't know. Downtown really is starting to get quite festive at this time of year, which is kind of odd, but Now, unofficially, I feel like I've shifted myself politically quite a lot. Because here's my thing. I've been a registered voter for the last 7 years. Because I first registered to vote back in 2017. And I've been voting ever since. But I registered myself to be Republican. However, I can't tell you how many times I just want to completely switch parties. Not to the Democrats, of course. But I wonder if there's a way to... Well, I actually don't know if you can even register yourself to be an independent. Do you have to legally register as either a Democrat or Republican? I actually don't know, if I'm being brutally honest here. Because if there was a way for me to actually legally register myself as an independent, I totally would. Because honestly, alright, let me put it this way. Historically, I've kind of always kind of seen myself as kind of a, maybe I just had that middle ground view on things growing up because, growing up, like the three closest adults I had growing up was, obviously both of my parents and my grandma, which was my mom's mom. And she and my mom were both Democrats. Yeah, my grandma was, I don't know if she was a hardcore Democrat, but she just kind of voted Democrat on pretty much everything. Now, my mom, she was kind of a different story. She kind of voted Democrat on a lot of things, but back in the midterms of 2018, that's when she kind of started turning more conservative. I don't know why, but I guess she switched parties and she became a Republican. So yeah, she went from being I would say almost not really a hardcore liberal, but definitely a moderate Republican, or not moderate Democrat. But now she's switched over to the Republicans, and she's apparently part of the weird Republican faction that are like the hardcore right-wing religio Republicans, which are that's the one thing I hate about the Republican Party, on how religious they make everything, which is a problem. Church and state are supposed to be separate for a reason. The founding fathers made it very clear that how church and state need to be separate. I mean, if students want to lead prayers in their schools, they can do that. Only exception to that are, religious schools, like Catholic schools, or, something like that. Now, do I think that Catholic schools are right for this country, or for any country? Not necessarily. Do I think it's harmful for society? Yes. I think religion is harmful for society. But in the fact of the matter that, America has religious freedom and you can believe whatever you want. If you want to believe whatever you want, go for it. No one's going to stop you. If you want to go to, a synagogue and speak Hebrew, be a cool Jew, I've absolutely no problem with that. But where I draw the line are those, extremists, for every religion. And there are people like that out there. It's not just Muslims, but pretty much every single religion that you can think of. There are some hardcore religious people of that religion that force people to believe in what they believe, and they expect you to adapt. Which is why I hate religion so much that I denounce Christianity completely. If I were to hate any religion 100% with every being of my body, it would be Christianity. I'm sorry, but I hate it. Which is kind of ironic because, yeah, I did grow up Christian. I grew up going to church every Sunday, unless there was something going on a Sunday that I had to miss church. Most of the time it was camping or something. And I was in church's equivalent to Boy Scouts, which they call it Royal Rangers. I mean, hell, my dad was a Ranger commander, for Christ's sake. But yeah, I don't let religion interfere with my political beliefs. These days, I fear that people take religion and politics, they make it interchangeably, similar, when they're not supposed to be. So that's why I despise religion. And if I'm going to believe on anything, it should be based on your morals. But that also becomes a problem because since I was raised, Christian, us Christians, we were taught that, love thy neighbor as thyself. And, I try my best to be a good person. But when religion is brought into the picture, there's just a dark side of me that just comes out. Haha, screw you. Of course it's gonna be nice for what? Or whatever the hell the song is. Oh God. I actually don't know what else I could possibly say. Oh yeah. But yeah, my grandma was always been, she was really religious but also Democrat, which was like, okay, cool, whatever. I guess she was more like a liberal Christian, which I don't even know what that means. My mom, obviously, as I kind of already mentioned, she was predominantly Democrat for a long time, but then recently switched to Republican within the last like 7 or 8 years. Honestly, both sides are corrupt, the way how I see it. Now, my dad, he was always Republican. He was more conservative. So yeah, growing up, both of my parents had political beliefs from both parties, which I guess kind of influenced on my my independent mind thinking, because I can see things from both perspectives, which is kind of interesting. I mean, especially like nowadays, I don't know if people from both parties like are in a relationship, but honestly, I kind of encourage it in a way. But, you know, hear me out, because you two can like talk about something, and you know, you can say your opinion, but also your partner or whoever, you know, being from the opposite party, can put in their sense and be like, oh, okay, cool, I never thought of it that way. But you know, you guys can have different political beliefs, and you know, all that. Okay, so but yeah, I mean, politically right now, I identify as independent, but more like right-leaning. So I guess you could say I'm like a independent Republican in a way, where I'm like, I'm still registered at, like, I still see myself as Republican, but yeah, I see myself as a Republican, but I'm too like libertarian. Maybe I'm just a libertarian. I actually don't know. Like, if you were to ask me where I believe on a lot of like major issues, I actually don't know if I would even be considered to be Republican. Maybe I'm just a libertarian. How would you register yourself to be a third party? Like, what are they gonna force you to register as one of the two major parties? Because honestly, I have no clue. Because I really want to kind of leave the Republican Party, honestly. The way how I see it, both parties are corrupt. Both parties have done enough damage to this country. Now, whether or not, if it's for, like, you know, moral reasons or not, I don't know. Oh, shit. Alright, expect to hear an ambulance here, guys, so... Oh, okay, never mind. ED trauma alert category 2. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think I'm actually quote unquote Republican anymore. If I'm being brutally honest. I mean, I'm more, you know, liberty minded, but I mean, when it comes to all the major issues like gun control, abortion, immigration, you know, stuff like that, I'm definitely lean more to the right. Because I'm like, you know, Republican views, I'm like, yeah, it should, you know, be like that. Or hell, even foreign policy. But yeah, I honestly think that it's not our best interest to be the global police. And to, you know, get all up in everybody's business. Also, I personally believe that we have to have all of our troops back home, which means no military bases. I mean, I guess we could protect our own embassies with, you know, our own soldiers. And personally, I think we should have the military at the border, not, you know, Homeland Security. But, you know, that's what I think, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. Which also brings me up to something else. So a couple weeks ago, actually I think it was this past weekend, actually, or no, it was 2 weekends ago, there were a small group of neo-Nazis marching down the streets of my state's capital, Columbus. You know, they're marching in, saying, you know, Nazi-like rhetoric slogans, and they were flying black flags with red swastikas. And, you know, they were just trotting along and just marching down the streets. And the other day I saw a post on Facebook that I couldn't resist to comment on. And from what I said in the most simplest way I can is that, because the post was like, why aren't we running over Nazis with our vehicles? Now keep in mind, this came from the person that posted it, well, okay, more like shared the post, was very liberal, I should say. And me, as a libertarian, or kind of someone that hopes to be third party, but leans a little bit more right. And the simplest way I can put it of what I originally commented was, unfortunately, with them marching down the streets is part of their First Amendment right. You may not agree with it, but it's their constitutional right to do that. That was the only thing that I said at the very beginning that was like, okay, that probably should, have some sense for them. I mean, because, it's true. Regardless if you don't like it or not, it's their constitutional right to do that. What if you're for it or not? Now, personally, I do condemn it a little bit, but there's nothing I can do about it because it's their freedom of speech. I mean, yeah, sure, I might say it's wrong, like, morally wrong to do it, but it's still a freedom of speech. And everyone has the right to free speech. They can say whatever they want about whoever they want, whatever it's, your best friend, all the way to the President of the United States. So, hell, I can even say, well, if I were to say, let's see here, oh, I know, Sleepy Joe Biden is an old, wrinkly communist. That's my opinion. And, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. If you don't like it, then, so be it. But, you should be grateful that we live in a country where we can debate literally anything, and we can have a whole bunch of disagreements on, a whole bunch of other topics. That's the beauty of America. All right. We're just now about 50 minutes into this video. And this arm is getting tired, so I want to put it in my pocket. And, well, we're almost to the house anyways. Okay, something just happened about Trump and his, I'm assuming his cabinet, but I need to take a look at it, actually. So we're going to end this off right here. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video of whatever comes out. Bye. Here's my face.